They vary.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, better.
Better. Why? What happened?
Oh no, I've just been a little under the weather the last couple of days.
Oh,
Busy. I've been working on the gardens and it's been like 100 degrees here. No
yeah.
kidding, on the porch, 100 degrees in the shade. And I'm out there in the sun digging gardens and I think the heat got to me.
I feel you. Trust
Yeah.
me, I feel you. Yeah,
Oh
we
Lord.
have a heat advisory today, and I was landscaping until about 2:33, and I'm like, nah, I'm done.
Oh Lord. Oh no, Gonzo, I think that's just always been a standing rule.
Well, yeah. That's why I was wondering. Well, it's during their term, right? But what about afterwards? Can't they like grant immunity to themselves?
Usually they do, but they usually have the populace usually has not been aware of what they've been doing since Kennedy was assassinated. Um, People are largely unaware of how everything got taken over, and there's no pardon for treason. There is
Yeah,
no
that's
pardon
the
for
only. Well,
treason.
that's the only thing that they can charge him
Yeah.
with. That's what I was looking at when I heard a couple
Well,
of
in the
people talk
military
about
tribunal, they can record all the other things he's done, but the treason is a sure unalived penalty.
it. In my country, we call that treason.
Yes, we do.
I just see picture somebody like smoking a pipe.
Oh Lord, yeah, with a handlebar mustache.
Yeah. No, I was trying. So I had something I wanted to ask you about that
What's
was
that?
bugging my brain because I was finding so many weird connections with this, and I was like, "Oh, I guarantee Mudrabbit has crossed into this community at one point." Uh,
Which one is that?
gematria?
Oh, I do gematria.
You do gematria?
Yeah, well, I dabble in it. It's the best site is gematrix.org.
Okay, so do you? All right. So which version of gematria do you use?
I look at them both.
There's multiple different versions that people use, like with different alphabets, depending on which alphabet you're using. Some people use the American alphabet to do it, and then some people use like the German alphabet. And I didn't realize the connection with that and Q stuff, and that's how
Yeah,
people were deciphering Q stuff. A lot of people
that's
were.
one of the ways. Yeah. Look at gematrix.org. I just dropped it in the chat in YouTube. I think that's the best one. I've been using that one for absolute years, and it's been up for a long time.
Matrix.org.
And I think the Anons are going by the English translation. You'll get the Hebrew translation first, and then you'll get the English translation down below. But the way you do it is you run through it and you look at what's trending. And usually, what it does is it reflects on what's going on around us, even though we're not aware of it. It could be a reflection of that.
Well, because I was actually talking to somebody about this, and I was talking to him about it with the mob used to use like the Fibonacci sequence in
Yeah,
order to do stuff with stocks, as well as they could like read things that were in the news that were
yeah.
like in
What
tabloids and stuff like that. Like that's how they would do it, and I was like, that's got to be a form of it too. I was
what
like,
they're using is game theory. That's what the president is using. They're all using game theory.
and what would that be defined as? What's game
Oh,
theory?
you'd have to read about it. It's weird, but it's what we used to study in the Cassiopean group. Let me bring up some information on it for you.
Insert phrase. Gonna be a name.
Name, number, address, whatever you want to put in there.
Hebrew and Germanic. 1832, 702, and 117. Those are my numbers coming back for Jacob Waters. The Hebrew Germanic is giving me 1832.
Mm-hmm.
And the English Germanic is giving me 702. And then the simple Germanic is 117. So simple Germantria is just the English language, right?
What
I saw W is 23, and I was like, oh, an A, B, C, 1, 2, 3.
well, you have a list. Your first list that comes up is on Gematrix is the Hebrew, and it goes quite a ways.
Yeah.
You have to scroll all the way down to get to the English.
Interesting. How much is Jacob Waters? What is the meaning of Jacob Waters? Jacob Waters in Gematria is 1832, decoded cipher, meaning for the words that it's given me is who is my husband? Nothing is holy, not even God. I am that I am. I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am.
Well,
I
you have to
was.
be careful when you do these things on your personal stuff because you got to understand there's filters when you read it. But when you're doing it for the greater good, when you're looking at politics or phrases that maybe Trump says or phrases that were found in the Q post or even world leaders' names like Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff, it's really interesting what comes up under the English.
Yeah, that I don't know. The Hebrew ones are fun.
Yeah.
There's some wild stuff that I'm not reading.
Yeah. There's I just dropped the wiki explanation to game theory and
Royal Family of Heaven.
We discussed it. Might not mean a person of royal family, might be a person who thinks themselves to be a royal family of heaven. You know what I
One of my
mean?
favorite colors, purple.
Purple's royalty.
Yeah, it's one
That
of my
was my
favorite colors.
mother's favorite color was purple.
Terry Nichols in a March 11.
That first website I dropped on the Wikipedia explains what game theory is, which is what they're using. I'm pretty sure of it. And the second one is when we discussed it in the Cassiopeia group.
Will you put those in the back chat? I can't grab any of those.
I can't paste. It's a phone.
Oh.
So I have to type it in on the tiny keyboard, and then I can't talk and type at the same time.
No worries. Gemetrics or whatever was .org was easy to
yeah,
in.
I can
The other ones I can't.
Yeah, I can share these with you through email, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I've heard of game theory thrown around a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no worries, Stone. Like I said, I didn't know if I was telling everybody when I first came on. I didn't know if he would be here or not, so I just kind of left it open-ended. He's got bad service tonight. Is what he just said.
Tell him hello.
Hello, Tony, says Mudrabbit. But either way, man, I appreciate you stopping in. But yeah, no, I saw that video and I immediately thought about you and telling me numbers and others. Like I don't know if you ever met my uncle. He came on my channel once. Well, I call him my uncle. He's not really my uncle, and he's been doing that for the last 5-6 years. I don't know if you'd call it game theory or what you'd call it, but
the numerology with the gematria,
finding things inside of media.
Yeah, I've seen those all my life, and I'll tell you one thing: I've always had the countdown numbers, but they've always gone up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it's always been numbers in a sequence, and I get those daily now. All of a sudden, they're going backwards. All of a sudden, I'm getting, let's see, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2. Every time I look at these numbers that are popping up, you know, it got more frequent over the years until lately it's just been coming in daily and several times a day. And now they're going backwards.
Mine are always like jumps. Mine are always like 369.
Yeah, but they're sequences of something important. 369 are the numbers of the universe, and something Tesla said, if you knew the secrets of, you'd be very
Yeah.
powerful, or
And
something like that.
I think it explains like what's it called? What are those things called that if you zoom into them, it's just the same shape and it just keeps going and going?
Fractals.
Yeah, they say it's similar to like a shell fractal. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like
And that's
9.
that's how everything goes together with game theory, with the Fibonacci sequence, and the people in certain families understand these things and teach them to their progeny, but don't teach them to people like you and me.
That sounds
Uh,
like a lot of fun, Tony. Sitting here
so,
in the Montana mountains, he says.
oh, it must be beautiful.
I know. I bet your view's a lot better than mine right now. 93 degrees out, and I don't feel like going outside.
But they turned around and started going backwards now, since all the announcements with the arrests and all of this going on now. And I have a feeling they're going to be becoming more frequent and then just ease off as the arrests happen or as the events happen. Because everything I've been talking about for what, 7 years now? Since 2017, to everybody about that, all of us Anons have been telling other people, it's happening now. It's starting to click in with Obama. They're going after Brennan. They're going after Clapper. They've got Comey. So yeah, things are happening.
So who do you think anybody's actually going to go down for
Yeah.
Epstein related stuff?
Oh
I
yeah.
don't
Oh
really
yeah.
think. Okay, so why
But
do
if
you?
you think about it, 3 of the big ones are dead already.
Who?
Well, they've got Nygaard. Epstein is dead.
You think
Brunel is,
Epstein? You
yeah,
think Epstein's dead?
yeah, I don't know. They say he's dead. Brunel is dead.
I always wonder because
Yeah.
I always wonder if he was escorted out and like swapped.
That's what I
I
wonder.
still think that's plausible, but
Yeah,
that's the
because,
only one I'd put as plausible. Like I don't think he.
well, there's a theory that because Anthony Bourdain died right before he did,
Yeah, I
there's a
remember.
theory
And
that
he
they
looks and they
switched.
look very similar. And his picture was I don't know why. I don't know whose picture it was, if it was actually Epstein's or if it was Bourdain's, but somebody's autopsy picture kept getting circulated. And to be fair, if somebody did strangle themselves, their face wouldn't look like the picture that was going around.
Okay, yeah.
It would have been looked way different. It would have looked. I feel like it would have been like red or swollen, or you know what I mean. Like there would
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
discoloration, or
From
I
lack of
just remember
oxygen.
seeing. I just remember seeing a face, and it didn't look swollen. It didn't look. I don't know.
Was that
Maybe.
the one on the gurney?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when they rolled him out of the prison. And they did a close up of the pattern on the ear, and they didn't match.
Well, what's it called? Was it CNN or NBC? One of them went in and did some video footage of the actual place, of the actual cell after it happened, to kind of show people the scenario.
Mm-hmm.
That what they shot looks nothing like the footage that was released. That looks like
Exactly.
a whole different cell.
I do not trust mainstream media as far as I can throw it.
So
I just don't.
where do you think Donald Trump is going with this idea of don't look over here? And why is he trying? Like, I feel like he either knows better or is trying to hide something. Like there's
Think of it this way. The list that Obama and Hillary dreamed up, where they put all they poisoned the well with that one. There
Are you
is
talking
a,
about like the flight logs that were released?
yeah, no, not the flight logs, the
So do
list.
you think the flight logs are legit?
I think the flight logs are legit, but I don't think the list is legit. The one
Okay. And
that everybody's,
have we seen any of these lists
I think
publicly?
okay, think of it this way. Think of it this way. The list that Obama and Hillary dreamed up to put out and poison the well for the Anons, because believe you me, we had shills on those boards. Think of think of the excuse me. What if, and I don't know this for a fact, but what if all the people that they're arresting for treason right now are on the real list?
And they're just doing that to like sweep it under.
Well, it's a distraction so that we can get people to pay attention to the treason part.
To the
And then
what?
later, the treason part. And then later, they'll come out with all the crimes that they're guilty of after they're taken care of. But the point is getting them before they run, before they hide.
Yeah.
And since the list has not been made totally public, all we have are the flight logs. I think some Anons may have a list, but until it's out there publicly, you can only get them on treason, because you have to pay attention to what the public's watching and what the normies are thinking.
Because Gonzo said I heard that they leaked the list to the dark web, and
Yes.
and I do think with everything that was going on at the time, they would have been happy, because if they had, and this is where I'm kind of like in a conflict about where Donald Trump sits in this thing. He has admitted to flying on the plane with
from West Palm to New York.
Yeah.
His
And
plane
then I
was
was
being
thinking about it.
serviced.
When I was thinking about it, I was like, there's a lot of billionaires that do that, where
Exactly.
they jump on somebody else's plane and take it. That's not the same as going to the island.
Right. Now,
And
what if this fake list?
RFK was also admitted him and his wife got on the plane
Right.
at one point.
Now,
And,
what if this fake list has all those names?
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess it
who
wouldn't-
that's who they're trying to eliminate.
I know. And yeah, I don't know. Did you hear at the beginning of my show? I was talking about R. Kelly's music video that he shot for
No,
a
I
song
haven't
called
seen it.
Fiesta.
No, I haven't.
So R. Kelly, who's currently in jail in Cook County,
Right.
not too far from here, he shot a video called Fiesta, and Jay-Z's in the video, Beyonce's husband, and Gotti and a couple other rappers. And somebody was just looking up where they shot the video, and it said Little St. James Island.
Oh, Lord.
And then people found the connection right away. They're like, oh, so R. Kelly, Jay-Z, and all these guys flew out to the island with all these girls to shoot a rap video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching the video just a minute ago to try to see if I could see any like temples or anything in the background.
Yeah.
It's just palm trees and sand that they have where all the shots are shot. You can see a structure in the background, but you can't tell what it is.
Well, there's a lot of structures on
and there's
that
like
island.
there's like bungalows that
Yeah.
But yeah. It was definitely confirmed.
Yeah, I think I told you before, when we were living on St. Thomas was when construction started on that island. For whatever reason, we didn't know then what it was going to turn out to be. We had a couple that used to come in and sit on our bar that we got to be real friendly with, that were working on the island. And they would stay on St. Thomas and then go over there, and they'd stay for Monday through Friday and work. He was in construction and she was in bookkeeping. And they were trying to recruit me and my husband to go over there and work, because he had, his skills and I had my skills, and they thought, they could give us a job. And they were just friends. They were just, just trying to do us a favor.
Yeah.
But
you had told me about this.
Right? Yeah. But we had already committed to my mom and dad and weren't about to, back out of that commitment. So it never happened. And then years later, we find out it was Little St. James.
That would creep me out.
Yeah. My husband and I talk about it often. As a matter of fact, I mentioned it to him recently. I said, do you remember when Joe and Stephanie wanted to get us a job on that island? And he's like, yeah. I said, that was Epstein's Island.
Gonzo said Anonymous put out a partial list. So when all of those drops and stuff were happening, I think that was the flight logs, because I do remember that the flight logs came out a while ago. I remember seeing Chris Tucker on there. I remember seeing Kevin Spacey on there. I remember seeing several actors.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they came with the Bill Clinton flew on the plane 30 some times. That was from those flight logs.
They said, well, the public.
That was only from like, what was it? Like late 90s to early 2000s. They only had like a small window on there.
The public number for Bill Clinton is 2728, something like that. But they just released it's more like 77, 78.
Why is that? Oh, the total number?
Yeah. It was a lot. It was like 3 times more than what they said.
Yeah, that's wild. No, I was listening to the Prince Andrew video too recently.
Hold on one second. I'm going to mute it for a second. Sorry, kid's up and I had to get him to. He just had ice cream and he's eating chips on top of it. So I took him away and made him go brush his teeth.
James M. Kelly was on it. Only person I've heard of. You haven't heard of Chris Tucker?
Oh, yeah, I know Chris Tucker. He's funny.
Well, yeah, he is funny. But yeah, he made this big public change though
Mm-hmm.
in the media, and he was like a big friend of what's his face, Michael Jackson at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I'm also starting to see a lot of like really crazy ties with I don't know if you'd call it the Israeli government or Israeli intelligence with Michael Jackson as well.
Well,
And
Israeli intelligence owns a lot of the actors, and a lot of the actors privately don't believe what they say publicly, but they're paid to do it, and they're blackmailed. These are the people that are on the Epstein list in large numbers. Of course, there are politicians, but the big list, the big part of the list are a lot of Hollywood actors.
I'm talking about the anonymous list disappeared before I could find it again. Oh, yeah. I don't remember which list
Yeah,
I've seen,
those.
but I'm pretty sure I've only seen the flight logs. Yeah, those are the only ones I remember seeing.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the flight logs, but I did post something interesting from Black Betty on X.
Bamalam.
Yeah, exactly. Her name's Black Betty. That's her handle. And she posted an extensive list because I had just posted, come on, Anon, some of you out, this is your opportunity. Some of you out there have the list and the flight logs. Come on, look, this is your opportunity to make it public. And she came out with that. And then Trump came out with the Obama thing. So that kind of got sidetracked. Oh, no, he came out and said, don't let it be a distraction. We're not paying attention to that right now. And then this with Obama. So I have a feeling with these people being arrested
Well,
for
and it's funny
treason.
because all of these people are like
Yeah.
silent about the
Mm-hmm.
Epstein list,
Yeah.
but they're quit. Like you haven't even heard them say anything about Donald Trump not wanting to release it. Like
Right.
they don't want to talk about it at all.
Well,
So I don't
do
know.
you remember the argument? Do you
Well,
remember the
what's his name?
so-called
Obama's been.
argument
I feel
that
like
he
Obama's
had?
been quiet for a while though.
Do
Like,
you remember the so-called argument that Elon had, the disagreement that he had with the president?
yeah, because he didn't get his EV
No,
mandates or whatever.
no. That's how they're spinning it. This was a ploy for them to get the normies to want the list, because no sooner than he said Trump is on the list, all the normies who are not aware of the things behind the scenes started screaming for the list. So now he's got the Democrats screaming for the list.
I
You
mean,
see, this is game theory.
if anybody could have stumbled across some information that happened to be looking through every single government file at the time,
Well,
I
he's
feel like
using
Elon Musk could release some information.
right. Well, he's using game theory.
The only problem is, I think he does this every time he has an outburst with somebody.
Okay,
That's
this
the only
is
thing with
this is a combination of the fourth way and game theory. He's using game theory. They're all using game theory. But in the fourth way, you put on these little acts. Gurdjieff said, scratch them a little bit and see how they react. So what he and Elon have done is they've had a fake argument. And Elon is left in a huff. Well, Elon only was supposed to be in there for what, 130 days or something like that?
you don't think Elon's actually upset?
No, not in the least. His contract was up. Everything else
I knew
is
his
them
contract was
spinning
up,
it.
and I don't think he's upset that he's not working there
So
anymore.
this is a plan. So what he did was he and Trump had this fake argument so Elon could make this post and say that Trump was on the list, so that That would make the Democrats, this is psychology, this would make the Democrats start screaming for the list. The people who never wanted to see the list or didn't care about the list or didn't even know about the list now know about the list and want to see the list. He's creating a desire among the people that had no clue. We already have a clue, we Anons, but so it's not going to do anything.
So what's the strategy behind?
Well, Elon turned around a week later and apologized.
No, he never apologized for what
yes, he did. I read it on X. He apologized.
I know. I read it too. He never apologized for that.
Right.
He never apologized for what he actually said or did.
Right. But he apologized for the outburst.
He doubled down on the outburst, which he has a history of doing.
Right,
and that's what I was analyzing more about him is he has a history of these weird outbursts.
This is the movie. Trump is using him to do that. This is game theory. This is actors. This is people creating a desire in a section of the populace that has no fucking clue.
So then
making them pay attention.
So they're doing this to get everybody to want the list.
Right.
Okay. So then why does Trump want to go on Truth Social and say anybody that's still following this, I don't even want you supporting me? Why is he saying stuff like that?
Look at what it's creating for the Democratic Party.
I think it's creating a mess on the right, though.
No.
Oh yeah, there's so much division on the right.
Then they don't understand what's going on, and this is a good way.
Most of them aren't looking at the 4D chess side of it.
Right, exactly. And this is a good way of gauging that.
But what if they gauged it by, okay, maybe Donald Trump's been corrupted. Maybe he's doing a lot of things with Bibi Netanyahu now. Maybe Netanyahu's coming over and has some kind of influence over our president.
No.
That it seems obvious.
No.
Especially with our strike on Iran, that you can put enough pins in a row to go, oh, there's a correlation here as well. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't think Candace Owens is wrong about the things she's saying.
Candace Owens is not an Anon.
I don't think she's an Anon.
No.
I think she's looking at it like, oh, it's very possible through Ghislaine Maxwell, Robert Maxwell, and other Israeli intelligence that's exactly what he was, and that's why this kind of stuff wouldn't. And I still don't think it's going to be released. I think anything that Ghislaine says in this testimony she's about to give, it's all going to be fabricated or stuff she was approved to say.
Okay, the first thing, or
because the other thing I listened to was Epstein's brother,
right?
And he's had some interesting interviews too, and he's given away a lot.
Okay, do you remember in the beginning from his first term when he got up, and they told us this on the cue board before Trump even said it in a rally, but he said it more than once. Remember when he said, "We caught them all"?
He said, "We caught them all"?
Yeah. He said, "I caught them all." I don't
remember it specifically, but
remember when he said that?
No, not specifically.
Okay,
I don't think about his words like you do.
He said it from the very beginning that he caught them all, and that implies that they have all the evidence that they need. The problem with evidence is,
what was he talking about when he said that?
The problem, I'm going on with that. The problem with evidence, because a later post said, how do you get evidence into a record? You know, how do you get evidence into a court record? Because some evidence, you can't just introduce it without a precedent. And everything he was in court for, see, this is what he was doing. He was using himself as bait. He's not the one running this operation. The military is. Trump is bait. Trump is the focus to keep them all, the anger going at him while they're working behind the scenes. They have all the information. They have everything. But when he says we caught them all, you know they're going to go down for everything they did because we've been clamoring for it. Yeah. He'll lose popularity if he doesn't do it.
He's going to lose way more popularity doing what he's doing. I guess I don't understand. Of course he's going to lose popularity because the public's asking him to do something and he's saying, you're not my supporters.
Wait for the result. No, because those are not the real MAGAs. They're not the real Anons. They're not the people who really understand the information. He's making us aware of who is who. Because there's a lot of fake MAGA out there right now that are really pushing hard. And I see it going on X all the time. And they come up and I look at the things that they're saying and I think, oh my God, these people are so out to lunch because they were not there to read the drops. And you've got shills in there. And the best way to subvert a movement is to take a little bit of truth and wrap it in a bunch of lies. That's an easy pill to swallow.
I mean,
everybody's
telling partial truth.
Right.
I haven't seen one person tell full truth. Not even, I mean, and if what you're saying is true, then even the president's not.
Well, they told us up front he wasn't going to divulge his plans.
That's not what I was saying. But would he boldly lie and just say, or do the things he's doing in order to get whatever people out of the MAGA movement that he thinks are there? Because he's also going to throw away people that
he's exposing.
Like not everybody that's MAGA is cute. So I don't think it always.
It's a signal to true Anons who the fake MAGAs are. In other words, he's saying to us who were there for the Q drops, you know what you know. You know these people, you know what you know, so counter what these people are doing. And if you watch what's happening, other Anons are going out there and countering what these people are saying. It's a signal.
Do you think their voice is big enough?
No, but it can confuse the normies. And right now, the last thing he needs is confusion in the masses.
Yeah, no, because I think the only thing that people are hearing is what Trump's saying. They're not hearing these people that have been following Q screaming at the top of their lungs. The media has told you to stop listening to Q forever.
Right, and the media is dropping in its popularity too, so they've done their job there. But if you see, I see it happening. I see it happening on the platform I'm on.
What's the strategy of dropping the Late Show?
Who, Stephen Colbert?
Yeah, in general, because and not replacing it, and
well, his ratings tanked. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, he said untrue things about the president on national broadcasts. That's not right. And number three, he likes little boys.
He never apologized for those Vax tributes he used.
Exactly. He's paid to push that stuff. He's part of the system. And plus, did you ever see that video of him with that missing little boy?
No.
Oh my God, it was disgusting. So yeah, he's going down.
Do you think so? When do you think somebody like Stephen got corrupt? Or what do you think of somebody like Jon Stewart? Do you think Jon Stewart is like a beacon on the left, or do you think of him because even Bill Maher, as much as I don't agree with him on everything, there's parts where I'm like, all right, I still got you there.
Okay, I believe.
Same with Jon Stewart. Every once in a while, I'll see him say things that make sense to me.
Yeah.
But then other times, it seems like he's reading off the same script as everybody else.
Right, but break it down. I believe that deep down, Jon Stewart is a moral man.
Yeah.
And he's got his own sacred cows and belief system. So he's left, and he's going to stay left most likely. He's progressive. His real name is John Leibowitz. That's fine. He's a moral man, and I don't think he's been corrupted in the same way a lot of other people have been corrupted, or in the same way Stephen Colbert was corrupted.
And that's why.
Now, Bill Maher, on the other hand, Anons have a photo of him in the blue wizard garb with the red shoes, and we do not like that.
They just put up Religious on Tubi the other day, and I was watching it. I love watching that.
That's a good one.
But no, I wonder when somebody like Stephen gets pulled over that line, because if you look at it, like people like Steve Carell, people like Stephen Colbert came up on the Daily Show. They came up because Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert was an anchor on.
Well, let's put it this way. Jon
So it's like,
Stewart didn't
when did they
control
pull
that.
him out of? Well, when did they pull him out of that? And then they got him into Hollywood, and we're like, all right,
Right.
this is how it's going to go.
Jon Stewart did not control the Daily Show.
No,
Otherwise, they wouldn't have changed him out. The producers did. And anybody, money talks. And we don't
I
know
think
who
he
those
wanted
people
to.
were.
I think he wanted a break from the Daily Show. That's why he did it.
I wonder. I
But
don't remember what the reason stated was.
yeah, because he did like almost 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like crazy,
And he
crazy
wasn't the
years.
original one either.
No,
The
he
first
was
guy
just
bombed out. The first guy was not good.
Noah, whatever his name
He
is.
wasn't good either.
He does good impressions. I like his impressions.
He's
But
left.
yeah,
He brought too many politics into it, and I think when Jon Stewart left, I used to watch him and Stephen Colbert nightly. And when Jon Stewart left the Daily Show, I think I watched 2 episodes after he left with the new guy, and I couldn't get into it. I didn't like him. Not for that show. It didn't match him.
so Gonzo, I think they are on the top. I think the left and the right are the same. And even on the upper, like I mean, on the regular levels, when you talk to people about politics, they both want the same outcome, but they go about it way different ways. Because most people, I think, will try to convince you that right-wing people have no compassion and they don't care about people, and then that leftists just want to give away all your stuff and care about people too much. And it's not really like that. It's usually they both are just tackling a problem different ways. And
Well, we're also not focused on the middle American left and the middle American right, the normal people.
I would say
There's some people out there that are left.
because we only focus on the extremes that they give up.
Right.
Yeah, and then I would say most people actually aren't even left or right. They're mostly centrist. I would say 80% of society is probably centrist.
Strangely enough, a lot of my friends are leftists, and I don't know why, but we still get along. And we love each other incredibly, but they don't have the same information I do, and they don't want the information I have.
Are they older?
They're my age, maybe a couple years older.
Were they hippies when they were younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I was trying to figure this out, and it actually is pretty much holding true. Most, and except for this new generation coming up now, most kids are more liberal than adults. It's because they're more compassionate. They care more about the world when they're, up and coming, and they don't have any biases or anything like that in the beginning.
Yeah, but we're talking about normal people. We're not talking about the idiots on the street.
But yeah, and then when you get older, you become more conservative once you start making money and actually understanding how the world works a little bit more.
Yes.
Most people lean more towards
That's exactly what happens.
But what happens when the young group coming up, which is, I don't know what it is, Gen X now? Is that what it is?
You mean Alpha? Gen Alpha?
The new one? Gen Alpha.
They're more conservative.
Yeah, they're more conservative than anybody coming up in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you'd only wonder how they'd turn out as adults if they ride it through. And because I didn't have a person like Donald Trump as a president when I was younger. Like, we didn't have anybody that actually pushed the envelope a little bit. But yeah, no.
Well, you had Reagan, didn't you? Weren't you alive with Reagan?
I wouldn't have known anything he was doing.
Yeah.
The first president I remember was Clinton.
Well, strangely enough, I was aware of politics at the age of 5 and 6 because this is what my great-grandmother watched incessantly on TV. So anything that was going on, the family was discussing it over the dinner table, discussing it in the morning, and I'm there, I'm watching what they're watching on TV. So I became involved because I wanted to be able to talk to the grown-ups. So I remember the assassination. I remember Walter Cronkite's reaction to it. I remember him breaking down in tears. I remember the people in town were everybody was in shock.
I grew up in the red flag generation.
Yeah.
And Candace Owens talks about this a lot. She calls us the 9/11 generation, where we grew up at a time where everything that we witnessed was the end of the world.
Yes.
And the public wanted you to think it was the end of the world, and it doesn't matter.
Trauma.
Doesn't matter if it's Y2K. It doesn't matter if it's 9/11. It doesn't
Right.
matter if it's the Mayan calendar. It doesn't.
And we boomers are sitting there going, no, it's not like that at all. And it's always in an election year.
And by the time I hit about 25, I was like, oh, it's kind of conceited to think about how small of a time frame that humans were on this planet, and to think that this planet is going to end in my lifetime.
Yeah, right.
That's usually where I'm like, oh, okay, I've grown up since then.
No, there are different cycles, but those things happen on the 29,000 year cycle and the 360,000 year cycles. They don't happen on the little cycles. We get little asteroids, little meteors, comets, light shows, but
we fly through an asteroid field every, what is it, fall?
Something like that, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, you got the Taurids, and then you have the Leonids.
But then there's different years, of course, that will be closer.
Yes.
Than other years.
We used to go camping during the Leonids just so we could sit out on the beach.
Everybody's like, "Oh, look at all the shooting stars!" There's a great episode of the Y-Files where he's playing out that first time when he gets through, and they're like, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're laying outside, and one person sees one, and they're like just checking them out going by, and then one like lights up the sky like daytime, and they were like, I wonder how close that was. Well, they're talking about what year is it? 2026.
It's always in our lifetime,
There's going to be a meteor that passes between the Earth and the Moon.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to hit us. They previously thought it was going to hit us. Now they think it's going to be at the distance between us and the Moon. And I just could imagine, I'm trying to imagine something like that going by our planet. Or conveniently, it's going to be where nobody can see it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We'll be on the wrong side of the globe.
Right. No, it'll be worse. Nobody can see it except Australia or something.
Yeah, right. Or New Zealand.
Right. Fiji's just watching it by themselves. No, I feel like everybody would flock to wherever you could see it if they knew it was coming for real.
Serious astronomy buffs would.
Where's the I forgot what it was called. But it's supposed to happen.
Well, that we went through, what was it? The Maunder minimum happened in, 2001. That's where the sun slows down. And you don't get as many sunspots or coronal mass ejections. And I believe the cycle is 11 years. So 11 years later, the sun kicks in again and starts spitting all this stuff out. But the general thought back at the time was that the danger of that, and what is it, a 27-degree tilt or something, could cause the Gulf Stream to reverse, and that would be a catastrophe. Well, now here it is, 2025, and I just read an article, I think it was last week, about some of the currents in the oceans are reversing. So that was interesting. But we also had a lot of cometary things going through the sky back then. And I remember, I think it was back in the mid-90s, maybe 95, 96, I got to see Halley's Comet from my front yard.
I've always wanted to see that one.
Yeah. I forget what year it was. It was back in the 90s somewhere, but I knew it was coming. So that's it when I was into my astronomy thing.
Well, and I missed it the last time it went by in my lifetime, so I assume I'm not going to get to see it again.
But, 76, I think it's 76 years, every 76 years.
When's the next time Halley's Comet goes by?
I don't know. I was in my 30s when it went by the last time. So you got about 40 some odd years to go.
Mid-2061.
Well, you'll be around. I won't.
Yeah, I'll make that one.
Yeah, I'll get to watch that one from the other side. We had an interesting discussion.
It was last seen in 86.
Mm-hmm. Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in my 30s. That was 86. Okay. I'm
I'm gonna
thinking
say that's
95,
before. I was gonna say it was
96.
before I was born, so I didn't miss one yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I went out, ran outside to watch it, and it didn't just go by fast. It was slow.
Yeah, and it's got a big tail on it.
Yeah, big fat wide tail, and you could see the purple on the outside and the orange in the middle. And it was like dusty, or I want to say fuzzy. It wasn't a clear shot. It was all like hazy. And it lit up this one section of the sky, and it just slowly trailed off.
Summer and winter, maybe. We always watch the winter meteor showers. Yeah, and that's what I've heard of. And that's when people are out making wishes and shit.
Yeah, we used
I
to
just
go
remember.
watch the Leonids. That's when we would go camping down in the Keys, and you didn't have any light, and you could lay out on the beach, and you could see satellites go blinking across the sky, and you can tell the difference between those and a shooting star because the satellites will blink steadily and just keep going in one steady direction. It's the ones that change direction that give you pause.
I also want to go see the aurora borealis at some point.
We got that across the United States not too long ago.
Maybe I did see it at some point, but for some reason it's like fuzzy in my memory. But I do
Yeah.
remember like because we go up to the Upper Peninsula when we're going fishing, and we stay on these huge lakes. And for some reason, I think I saw it one night, and like we were talking about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I might not have. I don't know.
Well,
I don't remember it well enough to.
they said that people in North Florida could see it, but we were in South Florida at the time, and all I saw was the sky was a little light for that time of night at the base on the
Yeah,
horizon. The rest was normal, so we really didn't see it in South Florida.
I got to see an eclipse. That was cool.
Yeah, I've seen a
That's it.
few of those.
That was my first one recently, and I ended up recording a video. But that one was neat. The one that we just had, a total solar eclipse or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just stared at it with my eyes.
I think that's all hype because I've looked at it with my eyes too.
I've looked at the sun for years, though. Like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
people
know.
see, you have sun
I didn't think
gazers
like,
out there. They don't go blind.
yeah, I didn't think the moon was gonna amplify it that much more.
You just have to be careful if you have light eyes. My eyes are very light blue, they're almost white.
Same.
So I can get cataracts easily by bright light. So you want to be careful if you have
So
blue eyes
I've
or
gotten
light green.
I've gotten like the what's it called like when your eyeballs scab
Hmm.
from like looking at welding and stuff before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've
I
done
worked in a welding shop for a while, for a couple of years. I was the office manager for a guy who did welding. And
but
one
it's
of
not
our
like really
guys,
scabs, but I could tell like it was super dry and I couldn't close my eyes for a period of time. I was like,
yeah, one
oh,
of our guys ended up in the hospital because he just thought a little bit of TIG welding wouldn't matter.
yeah, no.
Just a couple of spots.
I've seen so many satellites stopping and moving back and forth. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw Starlink. That kind of it made me feel small and insignificant.
I know, and they shot them up one right
Because they
after the
all
other.
just because they all lit up at the same time, and I was just like, oh, there's a line of them.
Well, there was somebody posting it as UFOs. What the hell is going on?
Oh, I bet there's plenty of people that didn't know.
Well, there's a lot of people that'll try and spin it for those who aren't aware.
True.
They just get a kick out of that. Some people just like stirring up stuff. I don't understand it, especially at this time.
Oh, why not? The world's fun with a little bit of shit stirring going on.
Yeah, but pick your battles.
We need something to lighten the fucking mood.
Yeah,
Just
right.
fun.
Oh man. I've been out in the yard 4 days in a row working on the big garden and finally finished it today. I had to break down the compost silo. We've been using the other one in the back, so this one had time to rot down. And I got some black cow
Black
and
cow.
fertilizer. Huh?
Black cow fertilizer. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the manure. And I took one bag of that. I've only got the strawberries and the citrus trees now. I put that down, watered it really good. And I told my husband, I said, most women want diamonds and expensive things. I said, I want mulch. Every time you go to Home Depot, bring me mulch because I need a lot of it. So he did. He came back both days in a row with 5 bags each. So
Get you some real mulch. Don't be buying it at the store. You can't be doing that. That's
you,
just
that you
that's just
can't get
wood
that
chips.
here. I
That's
use
that's
cypress
good.
mulch.
Cypress mulch is good. It's still just wood chips, but it at least keeps some bugs back.
Yeah, I like the cypress mulch, and
Yeah.
it keeps the
Spiders don't like
ground
it either.
moist. If you
Yeah,
don't have mulch, your ground dries out really fast, and you have to water all the time.
true. If you actually get bark mulch, um, it's actually weed preventative as well. But wood chips actually provoke
Are you there?
growth. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Check,
I
check.
had a phone call that yeah, I
Oh,
had a phone call.
oh no, sorry, you confused me. I was lost. I couldn't see you, so I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah, my phone, it's weird. When I get a phone call, everything else just goes to the background.
But yeah, no, I was explaining that to a customer the other day. They're like, why do people buy mulch? And I was like, well, I was like, there's a place in town. I was like, you can go over there. It's usually one of our fire stations. They have public mulch or public wood chips that you can go grab from, and it's all it is just chop down trees that they grind up, and then they give out the chips for free.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law did that. It turned out to be one big mistake because it's always got leaves and stuff in it.
Yeah, it's got all
No.
kinds of stuff in it, and you end up with weeds all over your yard.
Yeah,
Um,
but when you get a big wind, it ends up all over your yard.
oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, too.
yeah, this is why I
Yeah.
like the cypress because even when you get a flooded backyard, it stays in place.
Well, it depends. You can get because you can get. There's plenty of heavier trees that your city's probably grinding up. It just depends on what trees they have in the area,
Hmm.
and no one's probably grinding up cypress trees in your daughter's area. You know what I mean? That's not the first one that they're going to grind up at.
No, if they're going to have trees ground
They
here,
do,
it's usually fruit trees.
but like sycamore trees and stuff like that.
We don't have those.
We have though that's like a heavier wood. I was trying to think of other heavier woods, but
We can have oak and pine, but the pine that's grown for farming for lumber is down in Dade County. That's Dade County pine, and
yeah,
it's
and
pretty
pine is so
hard.
light. Yeah, pine is so light.
Yeah, and the other is oak, but oak doesn't grow here unless it's planted in a yard. There's no farmers growing oak down here, and there's no forest of oak down here. All of our plants are tropical plants, and a percentage of those are actually grasses.
Do you guys grow a lot of willows?
Um, when I was growing up, my Girl Scout leader had a little lake on a little pond, and had a willow growing on it. But the problem with willows is the roots.
They're really shallow.
Yeah, and you get a big storm like a hurricane and they go over real easy.
Yeah. The only thing that's crazy about willow is because most of the time, that's what sucks about willow trees is yeah they don't root very deep, but it's
Yeah.
because they're like a propagating plant,
Yeah.
and you can just grab a branch that has a little bit of life to it and just stick it in the ground and it'll turn into a tree. Like,
The kind of
yeah,
trees that I have in my yard, I have bananas, which are actually a grass. I have papayas, which those are reeds. We have mangoes, we have loquat, we have an avocado tree, citrus trees, we've got palm trees, but nothing that's it's pretty much representative of what grows down here.
yeah.
So unless you're
That's
getting
why I
Dade
assumed
County
willows.
pine,
That's why I definitely assumed willows in your guys' area, just because it's just a weed that kept growing. It's just a grass.
yeah, I don't think there's too many of them. I haven't seen one since I was a little girl.
You guys got a lot of locust trees out there.
And we
Yeah,
got a lot of flamboyants. We,
flamboyants.
yeah, that's the ones they're either orange or purple, the flowers,
Yeah,
and the leaves almost look like a fern, and they have these huge pods, seed pods that dry up and fall off of them that people take and use for shakes and rattles.
I
They're
can't,
really pretty trees.
I can't remember the tree that this guy tried to talk me into taking down. One of my old bosses who passed away recently, who I was staying with out in Florida. He had a tree like on the edge of him and his neighbor's property, and he's like, "Hey, go over there and cut this tree down for me." He goes, "I hate it," or "Can you go fill it with cement or something like that?" And I'm like looking at the tree. I'm like, I've never seen a tree like this. I was like, hold on, let me like look this tree up
Oh
before I
no.
get too crazy.
Yeah, because we have the poison trees too.
Well, no, it's an endangered species, and I would have gotten charged. Shit.
Yes.
It was like hundreds of thousands of years old. The
Mm-hmm.
species of tree or whatever. It was around when dinosaurs were.
Go for wood.
I don't remember what it was, but I was like, no, I can't touch that tree. I was like, it's a little messed up that you asked me to do that.
Yeah. He
No,
knew he couldn't get rid of it, so he wanted
he's like,
somebody else to do it.
he is the most Donald Trump person you've ever met in your life. Like, he's he was a probably 70 something or 80 something when he just passed away. He was right on that borderline, and he owns a bunch of real estate in my area.
He knew better.
I ran into him. Oh yeah, no, he definitely knew better. That's why he did it.
A
That's why
bastard. What a
he was like, maybe
bastard.
I get this guy. But no, I met him through the country club, and yeah, he's written letters to Donald Trump and had like set set up to go to dinner with him. And he's the guy I told you used to run a radio show. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, he did all these things, and he was a really interesting dude. He was like the most right wing person in a small town, and everybody knew him because of that. Like he was the Donald Trump of our New York.
Oh no.
It was the funniest shit. No, I loved the guy. Like the guy was a really nice guy. He was a dick, but you knew what to expect from him because
Yeah.
he's just brutally honest. But yeah, no, he was a cool dude.
Some people are like that. I mean, the guys I used to work for, oh my God, they were so stereotypical.
I was so upset because I remember I wanted to get Pena because I sat down and talked to Jim. That is his name. I sat down and talked to Jim, and he was like, "Oh," he goes, "You got friends in South America. You should have them call, and when you get on the phone, you're just gonna be they'll know. Hey, he's got listeners in South America. Like he was just trying to build up his radio show and stuff like that. And he goes,
Yeah, right.
when he comes on, tell him how often that they listen to the show. And I'm like, I was like, no, I was like, you want to talk politics with this guy? I was like, it'd be fun. I thought because that's what I was doing is gonna have Pena call in and talk politics with him. I thought that would have been a good time. And yeah, I thought about it. They just recently stopped doing his show after he passed away because
Aw.
a couple people like reached out to me about it, and I said I wasn't interested. It was his other co-host, this guy named Nostradamus. He's been in our chat before.
Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, he goes by Nostradamus, and he's a
Clever.
very interesting fellow too. He was more of a co-host, and yeah, he had some very he's led a very interesting life and come across some very interesting information. He lived in a missile silo for a little while. Like he's an interesting fellow. But also a great businessman. He owns a few companies out here too. He comes off crazy to the average person, but then if you like sit down and talk to him for a minute, you're like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this guy just knows too much. Like he gives me Alex Jones vibes. Nostradamus does. He's very cynical like myself.
Yeah, some people are like that.
Well, it's just like he just expects the worst from humans because they've seen so many bad things, and I feel like that's how soldiers and stuff are too. It's just like
Uh-huh.
when you've seen that much bad, you got to really dig to find the good in people, or they're just numb to it by that point. Stupid locust when you cut one down. Oh yeah, locusts spread like cancer. I always thought the bamboo would like take over Florida at one point because when I heard about snakes and other like insects and invasive pets that people were letting go of, I was immediately thinking, oh, bamboo would be perfect to take over Florida. somebody could just put it out there where somebody doesn't go a lot, it would take a long time for them to get to it and stop it from spreading.
What's that?
Bamboo.
Oh, well, there's also different kinds of bamboo. My mom had a bamboo garden in the back of her house in North Carolina, but it was the kind you could eat. So she had family that had a Japanese restaurant in town, and she needed the bamboo to be taken care of periodically. So they used to come and take the bamboo down for her and take the roots and take the shoots for soup. And they do it for free because they get it for their restaurant.
Yeah.
But it was that really nice bamboo. It wasn't that weedy stuff that you can't get rid of.
Yeah, no, I just thought it spread like wildfire.
It does. You have to go down and stomp on the shoots. You know, the little shoots will come up through the ground. You have to go down and stomp on them and break them to keep them from growing.
It doesn't reseed them?
No, not when you stomp on that shoot. They're rhizomes, so they're going to send up another shoot eventually. So about once a month when you're mowing the lawn, you go down there and just stomp them.
But yeah, no, I always thought that would be like the perfect I don't know, conduit for like an alien species or something to take over. Is something that's super invasive that can spread.
Well, that's what the Chinese are trying to do.
With viruses and stuff.
No, with seeds. They a while back they were mailing seeds to eBay customers for no reason at all.
I thought that was a conspiracy. And I've heard a lot about that stuff. Like, and people always, because I ended up looking this up one day, because people will send you seeds and you're not supposed to plant them.
Right.
You're not supposed to do anything. But the curiosity alone makes me just want to go, oh, come on, I got to know what this is.
Now, some of them got tested and they were an invasive species, you know, like kudzu is invasive.
Yeah, just grow it in your house in a cup.
Yeah, no.
You can check it out.
Might turn out to be something like Little Shop of Horrors where you get this
right.
Seymour, feed me.
Feed me, Seymour.
Have them growing all over the country.
I'd be down with that too. I would feed Seymour or whatever his name was my blood. I would get him. I'd grow him real big. I'd bring him bodies. To be fair.
Oh Lord, no. Lord, no. That's what I named my squash down in Dania. It was growing from my little yard. It took over the whole yard. One plant, the butternut. So I named it Seymour.
So tell me more about alligator Alcatraz.
Apparently, I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, that there was one person already that tried to escape and found out the hard way. But they're not
in
being.
The name.
Yeah, it's these people aren't known for their brightness.
Just because it's got Alcatraz in the name doesn't mean you're going to be the one or two people that made it out.
But the governor came on and explained how this is working. These people get caught and they get sent to Alligator Alcatraz, and they are given a choice. We will send you back to the country you came from, or you can stay here at Alligator Alcatraz.
I heard some of the countries of origin aren't taking them back too.
The what?
Some of their countries of origin aren't taking them back.
Yeah, well, that was Mexico in the beginning.
Yeah. No, that's what I heard as well. I'm like, oh, convenient. These aren't your best people, and for some reason you don't want them back.
Yeah, but your arms are open for them, right? This is what you tell your populace. Oh, it's been unbelievable.
Well, because that was my biggest thing about people using it for asylum. And it's just like, wait a minute. So why are you rocking this flag then? If you had to leave there because it's so dangerous, and why are you going back there on fucking vacation?
Exactly, and they're sending money
for holidays.
Trump stopped banks from transferring money outside the country for that very reason, because they're sending all this money back to their families. So no, you're not leaving with this money. You're going to pay taxes on it if you want to be here. But in Alligator Alcatraz, they are given a choice. And they're not locked up because they just can't go anywhere. You can stay at Alligator Alcatraz or you can go home. And he said you'd be surprised there are some that don't want to go home.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people self-deporting now, too. They said the count was over 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
for self-deportation.
A lot of those people have families and businesses and jobs and lives here, and if they want to be able to come back, they need to self-deport and do it properly. This one woman, she had her kids here, she had a business here, she's been here 22 years in the system.
To be fair, I'm not even cool with anybody getting deported that didn't do a heavy crime. Those are the
Okay,
people I do want people going after.
let me give it to you from my personal perspective.
Yeah.
When the war was going on in Lebanon and we were losing family members, we tried to get my husband's sisters over here.
Yeah.
Through political asylum. We tried to bring his sisters because they were young, unmarried. And we had the hardest time and still got turned down. Why? Because they're Christians. They would not let them come over here properly. And still, my husband and I were talking about it tonight. His sister called from Lebanon to ask how he is. And he said, she's asking him, when are you going to come to Lebanon and come see me? I said, Jim, when is she ever going to come here? How long has it been we've been together? And she hasn't ever come over here. He said, they still won't let her.
Yeah.
And it was this time, it wasn't the Lebanese government, it was our government won't let her.
My biggest thing with the whole problem of it is taking back a precedent that we've kind of set. Same with like birthers' rights, citizenship. We kind of have set a precedent.
It got abused.
The only time I'm against it is when people are committing crimes outside of just normal shit. If you're being a functional member of society and you're contributing to society, I'm cool with it. If you're just a burden on society, and then we have this other thing hanging over your head, just
out you go.
Happens to be, immigration. Sure.
Yeah, I have no problem. Just do it the right way, because those of us who have done it the right way, we get disappointed, and the people we're bringing in are good people, professional people with skills.
And of course, we don't want people jumping the line, because there are good people that are trying to make it through.
Right.
And just because you are jumping the line doesn't mean you're a bad person. I just think they don't understand the scope of how big it is and how many people are waiting to do it properly. Because
we've got too many people with mental issues running around loose.
Yeah, I just don't think humans are meant to live the way we do.
No, we're not.
Like, as a species, I don't like. I was looking at a lot of rat studies, and they were doing these things with rats where, when they put them in larger and larger communities, there was always a few by percentage that would just go crazy. Because they weren't used to having that type of a population. They didn't fit anywhere in the alpha whatever roles of society, so they didn't know what to do with themselves.
For humans, add to that dynamic the propaganda we've been fed, especially since Obama repealed the Smith-Mundt Act.
Well, I think humans need to feel valued.
Well, humans need to be told the truth.
That too.
Because if you're told the truth, you're valued, you're respected, you're considered.
Not always. I feel like if you learn the truth and you learn too much of it, you can feel like the grain of sand on the beach, and you're just like, they don't care about me. I'm just a number. Like, and that's the truth of it.
The truth beyond that is that it's a beach. We're all there. We're all connected. We're all there with the other grains of sand. And people tend to stop at that one grain of sand. Oh my God. No, you're on a beach with millions of others just like you.
True.
That doesn't wash with me when people try to say that, when they're feeling lonely, it sounds like they're going into a pity party. It's like, come on.
It is because of the individuality of humans, I think.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be special. Everybody wants to be the individual, and everybody wants to be the main character of their own story.
We also have an incredibly large number of baby and infant souls being born into this miasma. And you've got a bunch of old souls that are just fed up with it. Because they're not being raised by old souls. They're being raised by students and other baby souls. This is something the deep state understands that common man doesn't. And they're manipulating even that because they're all into this occult. So they're aware of things that normal people aren't aware of, and they're utilized against us.
Do you think magic is good or bad by nature?
Most magic is sleight of hand. But when you
Like
get these people
like
who,
actual true magic, like what we would call a miracle
yeah,
or something
I
like that. Do
think
you think it can be good or bad? Or do you think it is inherently like when somebody says black magic or good magic or bad magic, I
I think it can.
treat magic like guns.
I think it depends on who you're asking for something. There is a process you go through when you ask God for something. And it's an entirely different process that one goes through when they use what they call magic. Because when you start using that stuff, you're a bright
Okay.
light to any elemental or something wandering thing that wants to attach to you. Because when you ask God for something, He's not going to just hand it to you, He's going to make you earn it. But when you use magic to get something easily, that's not of God.
I think it's the same as picking up any weapon. What makes it good or bad
Is the
is
person.
well, not even the person, the intention.
Right.
The intention of what you're going to do with it.
Right. And
And
a good person would not have bad intentions.
yeah, and that's why I compare it to a gun. But I do think of magic as neutral, and a lot of people don't. It's because for some reason they just believe certain magic is bad, and
I
I'm just
think
like,
it's in the
or all magic
definition.
is demon, or
I think it's in the definition. The very definition of magic is not a good thing, because they're talking about using spells and things like this. You're asking
do you think it was
elementals.
vilified? Do you think it was vilified by the church? Like I
What?
think most of that leads back to being vilified by the Romans and the original Christian church and Judaism and being against alchemical practices. Even medicine was considered magic.
Okay, there's a, like I was saying, there's a big difference. When my mother used to channel, there were people that would react to her channeling. Like, we had one girl just jump up and run out and never come back again because it scared the bejesus out of her. And she swore up and down that what my mom was doing was evil. But she didn't catch the significance of the prayer beforehand, and she didn't catch the significance of us asking God for guidance. And my mother worked very hard for many years to develop this ability. It just didn't come to her. But you have these people that go out when you're doing the magic stuff, you're asking a lower entity than yourself to do something for you.
Well, so what? So do you think it's possible? So you were talking about was it your sister-in-law or what was it?
For what? For what?
For what you were just talking about? How is she related to you? How did you know her? The lady that used to predict those things that
Oh, my
everybody thought
mother?
it
My
was your
mother was
mother.
a channeler.
Okay, so would you compare that to somebody like Edgar Casey? And
Yes.
also, do you think that they're tapping into like the Akashic records as we know them, or do
No,
they have to be
you're
channeling a lower entity?
Laura Knight Jadzik and my mother were tapping into groups of individuals from sixth density. They're on an ethereal plane. They're not in physical form. And they're ready to help you if you ask, but you have to ask properly and you have to keep God in mind, because these are, I guess, some people would consider them the angels.
Yeah.
But there's many of them up there, and there are groups of them that it's their mission to help us. So asking them for things, they don't give you things. See, that's the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. These guys don't give you things. If you have a question for them and say, this is what I want to know, or this is what I want to achieve, or this is an object that I would like to obtain, they set you, usually through the Socratic method, for you to go search for yourself. And they'll give you little hints by like where to search, what to look for, how to look for it. They make you do the work. The elementals don't make you do the work. You don't do the work. You don't grow.
Well, and I noticed that difference depending on like, and this to me is like lower frequency talking is like something like a Ouija board.
Yeah,
Because,
and then you have filters.
And I could feel the different energies that I was talking to, either by the strength or how they were talking to me or what they were talking to me about. Like, and I could tell which ones had been alive before in a human form and which ones hadn't. Like you can tell if something was never human before.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know what it is that it just seems like a higher intelligence where like language itself was a barrier to them.
Well,
like
I asked.
Trying to communicate things to me was hard. It was weird. It was really
No,
weird.
they didn't seem to have any problems communicating to us through my mother, and they don't seem to have problems communicating to the group through Laura. And when I did the automatic writing, it didn't have a problem communicating with me. But I think some of them, our spirit guides, have missions to help those of us who are in tune. And you have to ask for it the same way you ask for the other things. But mine was alive, I think he said, in the 15th century, which would be the 1400s.
So what about with like a musical artist who says that somebody else takes over, almost like a muse?
Yeah, Beyonce has.
Category?
Yeah, Beyonce has Sasha Fierce. Just remember that Lucifer or Satan or whoever it was that got kicked out of heaven was the one that was in charge of the music and the choruses and the praises. So when they broadcast this music in 440 hertz, it's not doing you any good, either mentally, physically, emotionally. It's just not doing you any good. You want music that's in the solfeggio frequencies. And the Rothschilds knew this. Again, these people in the occults, they knew this. And the Rothschilds made the standard 440 hertz. So now our music, our rock and roll, all that stuff that comes over the radio, all the stuff, the TV shows that come over the television are in something like 440 hertz. This is why the news gets you so agitated and so angry, because they're feeding you negativity while they're broadcasting a hertz that's not compatible with being calm, with being at peace.
Trying to think about what the for some reason 935 or 9 something comes up all the time for hertz.
There's a list of them,
which is like a double of, because if you're thinking about hertz or you're thinking about beats per minute, all of them correlate on multiples as well. So it's like if you're looking at multiples of a bad hertz, and it's just that doubled or at a higher, like at a more rapid frequency.
Okay, think in terms of 369.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
and when you add all the numbers together, it should come out to either 3, 6, or 9. But there's another one, I think it's 1052 or something like that. I wrote it down somewhere. I could be wrong. That's also a very beneficial frequency. But for the majority of them, I believe when you add all the numbers together down to one digit, you get 3, 6, or 9.
What happens when you put 369 into the calculator Germanica? Or Gematria?
Oh, I think a lot of people have done that. But yeah, you have to be careful when you're using what you call magic. I guess people would consider channeling magic. Christians would. I think this is why a lot of the books, like the Book of Thomas, the Book of Mary, the Book of Enoch, have been removed from the Bible, because it discussed these things. And this was something the church could not have the masses knowing, because they'd lose control. And Laura's very interesting. She does it with a spirit board. She doesn't use an Ouija board.
Okay.
She uses a spirit board.
What's the difference?
Big difference.
I was waiting for you to explain after that. What's with the spirit board?
A Ouija board has a lot of negativity attached to it. And I think it's made without any intent other than greed because
I
it's
feel
made
that
by
way.
Parker Brothers.
So I feel that way because I guess what you call mine then is the spirit board because I don't buy Ouija boards.
Yeah, I
You
don't
have
have
to make them
anything to do with
yourself.
the Ouija. Yeah, you can make spirit boards yourself.
Yeah,
And
Ouija
some of
board
them are very beautiful.
you have to make yourself,
Mhm.
and the intention is built into it. Like there's some people I've
Right,
talked to. There's names on the back that have
right.
lines through them of people that are not allowed to enter my board. Like I have, I still have a Ouija board. I just don't use it.
I
I
found
almost
one
keep
in
it
my
around.
mom's stuff and broke it.
I almost keep it around as like a lock, like a padlock on my door.
No, I
Like
don't
that's
even
why
want
it's
it in
there.
my house.
Well, because I wanted to, like, trust me, I wouldn't want a Parker Brothers one sitting in the closet, but I do want one that says, "Hey, you're not allowed here. Hey, you're not allowed here." Even if I never touch it, I just want them to know that this door has a lock on it. The one door that I do have around has a lock on it.
Yeah, I packed a
Because
bunch of my mom's stuff so fast that I didn't even realize that I packed it. And it was old. She'd had it from the 60s. And I threw a bunch. It was actually in a box. I just picked up the box and put it on the trailer. And when I got down to Dania, I started going through a lot of the stuff. And the minute I found it, I just had the most overwhelming negative feeling. So I pulled it out of the box. I punched the middle out of the planchette and stepped on it. And then took the board and broke it over my knee. And I felt so good doing that. Threw it in the garbage and never saw it again.
But like design, what do spirit boards look like compared to Ouija boards? Are they different?
They're square. The ones I've seen are square. Mine is square. Laura's is square. I think you can look them up. They're very colorful. And you can make one yourself. I made mine. I've never used it. I never finished it. My mom passed away and we were in the process of clearing out the store and closing down. And it was right after her memorial. So I never got the chance to even steam the Gouda off of it. I just packed it away as is or mount it.
So Ouija boards technically are spirit boards.
Yeah,
The what I'm here, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Just to give you an example.
they have a lot of negativity attached to them.
But I think it makes a big difference, like you were talking about with the creation of them.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just noticed, let me see.
The spirit board works the same way an Ouija board works.
This is what so I looked up spirit board and then just put image on there.
Yeah, I know, and it's giving you. They're usually square with a round
These
thing
are
on it.
well. So what I did see, which reminds me of probably what you're talking about, is something like this. It has an archangel on it, and
Yeah, some are really pretty.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think that would remind me of what you're describing as a spirit board.
Okay, see the one on the right with the woman in it?
Yeah, the one I lifted up. That's what
Yeah,
I was saying.
yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about, but that was like farther down in the list. They have circle ones.
Yes.
But
Yes.
these to me are all Ouija boards.
Yeah, but the only one I've ever seen is square. But in my world, we make a distinction between the two because a Ouija, I don't know, there's just something about it.
Ooh, gotta get you one of these. Got the pentagram right on it for you.
Oh no.
Do you think the pentagram's bad?
What it represents, yeah, it depends. My ex-daughter-in-law, who's since passed away, um, claimed she was Wicca and she wore a pentagram, but she wore it right side up. And she said the pentagram is a symbol of man, which I get because we're 5 points, head, two arms, two legs.
Yeah, it's the Vitruvian man or whatever.
Yeah.
I have heard that as well. And
but I also think Wicca can get you into trouble.
I grew up with a friend that was a witch, and she was also into the same band I was into. That's how we ended up being friends.
Mhm.
And she practiced Wicca, but if you actually practice Wicca, it's exactly what you just talked about with intentions.
Yeah.
Um, real Wicca is like the rule of threefold. And most people, if they actually study Wicca, know exactly what I'm talking about. If you try to, so anything you were to cast on somebody else, any type of magic spell that you were trying to orchestrate or anything like that, you
Mhm.
had to be prepared for it to come back at you threefold.
Yeah. And that all comes from the Triskel.
Yeah. And so it's like, why? Yeah, that is inherently in it. So you know it can't be bad. Like you wouldn't do it unless you were planning on, you can't hurt somebody unless you were planning on it killing you. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And it's the
Even
same
that
with
though,
it's the same with like love potions or stuff like that. Like none of that stuff is true. Like what you'd think of as the typical witch isn't
I
something you
think
actually find in Wicca.
I think the actual request says it all, who you're asking,
Yeah.
because you would never ask God certain questions. There's just some questions you know darn well you can't ask.
Well, most of the spells that come with Wicca, because I studied it for a little while, and Wiccan were they're earth based spells.
Yeah.
They're very much like combined all of these ingredients. It's very much what you'd think of as like a witch stirring up a cauldron.
Yeah.
It is very much find all these ingredients, but it doesn't go to like the voodoo side.
No, but I
Voodoo
understand.
side is a little more of like grab the hair of your enemy and bring
Yeah,
that and
but there's karma.
incorporate it.
There's heavy karma,
Yeah.
and my first daughter-in-law is dead.
Oh, really?
That shit catches up to you eventually. And if
If
you're
you have bad
not,
intentions, I agree. I think if
yeah,
you have bad intentions, it's supposed to.
well,
That's the
I don't
purpose.
know what I know what happened to her. I don't know what happened to her head. It's just why she even thought about the things she did. But the alarm bells went off right after they got married. She went and got these big old ugly tattoos right on her shoulders,
Right here or on the back.
over her breasts, on her
Yeah, yeah, right
shoulders.
here. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
because usually that's where I see them. It's like right in front of the shoulders.
Yeah, right there. And then she got some on her, I think her hips. I don't remember where they all were. But her life just spiraled out of control the more she used it. And eventually they got divorced, and then she ended up pregnant with the younger man's child, and then later the child wasn't even 19 months old and she overdosed. So that stuff affects your life. You get
Oh
into
yeah.
that and it affects your life, and in ways
Well,
that
I
you
think
can't imagine.
anything like that is going to affect you, and you have to go into it with a certain level of respect. Like I would say the same thing about using a Ouija board or using anything where you're tapping into something, like you were
Well,
saying,
if you think of
because
it like this, that addictions are attachments, that without attachments we wouldn't have addictions.
there has to be something driving it.
Yeah.
Besides the attachment, what like something draws you to it. It's either outside influence or
It's
I
usually
don't know.
outside influence.
It could be coercion.
Mm-hmm.
That not like so outside influence, not from a physical person,
Right.
but yeah, I think it's possible that's one way to get you drawn in,
And
and
this is where we get into easily influenced people.
yeah,
So,
promises from
yeah.
whatever it is you're talking to, because I learned right away on a Ouija board that people try to lie to you. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't take me very long to figure out these people are trying, whatever these things are, they're trying to get me to do things that
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't expect from somebody good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they tell you things that are just, are not right. So, yeah.
Well, and they're very much like I don't know if you remember when my channel got flooded by trolls
Yeah,
sometimes.
I was there.
There'd be like 70 messages coming through at once.
Yep, I was
And
there.
there'd be like one or two people inside of the 70 messages like, hey, make me a mod. I can make this all stop.
Yeah, right.
And that's what you see on Ouija boards too.
Yep,
Is that
yep.
one person reaching out like, hey, this is your safe color. You should
Yep.
go change your shirt right now. And I'm like, well, what? How is that going to help anything? Why do I need to change my shirt? And why do I need to be wearing yellow?
When I was doing my automatic writing, I wasn't asking, well, I did ask personal questions, but I was asking more questions about the world around me. And I did that for a number of years. But when it collapsed on me and I stopped doing it was when I was going through my divorce and I was going through a lot of personal issues and emotional trauma. And that's when my filters got in the way. And it was more or less telling me what I wanted to hear. And when I recognized that is when I stopped doing it, because I realized I was developing these filters through emotional trauma or emotional sadness, and I wasn't letting the real words come through. And even the control on my hand felt different, because you know when something else has control of your hand.
Yeah.
So whatever this thing was that was interfering between me and my spirit guide that I always communicated with, it was playing on my emotions and it was playing on my filters. And I knew that was when I had to stop doing it. I could do it still. I still have it. If I wanted to pick up a pen and started writing, it would just do it automatically, but I just don't do it.
I can do that, but I don't ever feel like I'm channeling something specific.
I know when I'm channeling something specific when I'm not aware of what my hand's going to write.
Okay. Well, and so what about like a flow state?
That's the flow state. You're always trying to second guess what word is going to come out next. And when you start doing that, your filter pops up and all of a sudden you're not doing it. It's you. It's more you than it's them, and it becomes a struggle.
So
And
how do
then
I get how do I separate what is the flow state and what is something I've learned? Like
well,
what is muscle memory? Like if say I'm gonna use myself as an example. Say I put 21 years into wrestling and then I
uh,
go in and I wrestle somebody without thinking about it. Like I'm not thinking about what move I'm gonna do next. My eyes are
right,
closed. I I eventually just start doing things that I know how to do.
right, muscle
Tapping
memory.
into am I tapping into something, or is it how much of it is actually me and my experience in doing this, or is it I have experience tapping into this?
We always called it getting into the zone. I think it's a little bit of both. That's my personal opinion. Because when we used to go, I had that problem, especially at Tai Chi. You know, it would come up in Taekwondo, but in Tai Chi, they would have us do these exercises. Like, for instance, one of them was make a triangle with your hands, extend your arms, and put your index fingers and your thumbs together and make a triangle and stare at that while standing on one foot. And I would zone out. And when I'd come back out of it, everybody be halfway through the form and I'm still standing there. So that's when you get into the flow, because your mind goes blank. You've shut down the internal dialogue and you're just focused on that space that your fingers are making. And the same thing happens with the Taekwondo. I haven't done it in years, but I find it's still body memory for, like, when I drop things, I'll take my foot and kick it back up, or, you know,
Yeah,
grab it really quick. And it's nothing spectacular because it's muscle memory.
right. Well, and that's what I was hinting at is how much of it is actually muscle memory and how much is it
Well, automatic
actually
writing
tapping into
is
something.
not muscle memory. And you can tell when something else is controlling your hand. It starts at the wrist.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, writing it's easier for me to think of because the technique of writing itself doesn't need you don't need to learn anything more. You know how to make all the shapes, all the letters. You know what to represent it with.
Well,
Uh,
it's using you
it's
as
like
the
music. It's
vehicle,
like music. It's like
right?
music more
And you
because
have the
like
music
anybody
already
knows that.
written in your head.
Yeah. Well, and
So,
that's where it's harder. It's because to tap into a muse on music makes a lot more sense, or for writing, because to construct a story is the hard part. To construct a piece is the hard part.
well, I'm
It's
not
that
writing with the automatic writing. I'm not writing a story. It's an entirely different thing. It's more like channeling.
Vaughn says, time slows down, things happen. That's
Yeah.
true.
But when you're writing, that's a muse type of things. You get in the zone while you're doing it and the story flows. I've done that.
Yeah.
But
Because
when
I've done
you're
that too, where it's just like I can do the same with drawing. Like I'll start
right.
doodling it, and then all of a sudden I see something inside of what I was doodling.
Yeah, that's what we do as artists. But automatic writing is a different thing. You're channeling an entity, you're channeling your spirit guide, and you're asking for counsel, and
If
it's
you
giving
can,
it to you.
so would that work with your left hand as well as your right hand?
I don't know. I've never tried it with my left hand. I should, but
Are you
I was
right-handed?
just comfortable. The thing is, when you start doing it, you have to practice because you have to learn to let it use your hand.
No, I was thinking about that lady that did like automatic writing, and she
Yeah,
could write and like write sentences in both directions with both
yeah,
hands.
she was amazing, and the
Yeah.
two sisters. But I'm not that caliber.
No, I wasn't saying you were. I was just saying that's what comes to mind when I think of people just going into like auto pen mode.
Yeah, I think if I went further into it, I could do that too. But when I started doing it, the exercise for you to start doing it is you have to sit with the pen in your hand. Sit quietly, kill the internal dialogue, go into a meditative state and pray for protection and put your shields up and wait. And the first few times you do it, nothing happens. First couple of times, nothing happens. For me, the third time, my hands started making little circles, little tiny itty bitty circles on the lined paper. And I could tell it wasn't me doing it because I wasn't even looking at the paper. I was too afraid. And when that happened, I got afraid. I jumped up. I ran upstairs. I talked to my mom about it, and she told me, "You're fine. Keep praying for protection. Go back down there and keep practicing." So I went back down and I kept practicing. I felt better at it. And before I knew it, those little circles turned into this little flower, little 5 or 6 petal flower. And now every time I talk to him, when he would, well, not now because I haven't done it in a while, but when I would talk to him and he would sign off, he would draw the little flower. And in that way, I knew it was him and nothing else.
I got really addicted when I was younger. I used to like to write. I would stare at whatever, whether it was a person across from me or whatever. I would like to stare at them and then try to, if it was lined paper, I would try to do full sentences inside of the lines without like actually looking away from the person in front of
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I used to practice doing that for some reason. And I don't know why I did it all the time. And I could
That's
still
different
somewhat do
though.
it. No, I know. I wasn't.
Yeah.
It's just something weird with writing, and I don't know. I don't know. Something I
I'm
used to
trying
joke
to
around with a lot.
I'm trying to remember the
Process
book I
consciousness is
had that
beautiful.
taught me how to do it, but I can't even remember the name.
It
Oh, that was
is
so long
fun,
ago.
and I would assume it's just as scary though. I would assume with the beauty comes the scariest, darkest depths of consciousness as well.
Yeah. Well, after a while, the fear goes away and it's just like an old friend. And if it's true and if it's for the good, it won't bother you when you don't want to be bothered.
Those I didn't pull this up when Gonzo said it. You will never get everyone to believe the truth, and it's just like, yeah, no, not everybody's going to have a clean and moral conscience, and some of them are going to have really dark things, and
Yeah,
they won't be able to see any of the beauty.
if it's something that challenges something I said, I don't care. If it's something that they don't believe on the political arena, that red pill has just become a suppository this week. They're going to get it the hard way at this point.
With political stuff, hopefully they're not holding it that valid.
No,
And
but
they're
I'm already seeing people that are astounded. Oh my God, Obama did that. And oh my God, I voted for him. And oh my God, I can't believe I didn't see it.
I don't know. I think there's too many other distractions going on that wasn't what changed them to be like, well, maybe Trump's not a bad guy. I think there's still plenty of stuff on the table where they're like,
they're not in that point yet. They're at the
Yeah.
point where they're at the point of realization right now. And if any of them start thinking in those terms, they're going to start seeing it as, in their view, the lesser of two evils. That's how I saw it in the very beginning, because I didn't know everything that I know now.
like it doesn't matter how many times I look at the video where Trump calls his daughter hot or sexy or whatever he calls her, that I don't just get thrown off. Like I just can't look at that and go, that's a normal thing a dad would say. You know, like some of that shit just messes me up.
Well,
And I
I've
don't
heard
care.
dads say that, and I've heard dads say of the same daughter to cover up.
Give me a thumbs up back there. I don't know what's the